everybody, it is April and I am in my craft room and we are going to take 2 charm square packs and make these. Won't you join me? I have recently become very fond of charm packs. First of all, they're small, they travel well, and if you get 2 of them, the things you can do with them are amazing. One of those things is to turn it into this. With this square, it's not a square, it's a block. With this block, there are multiple designs that you can make too. It's almost as cool as a half square triangle. So let's get started and make this quilt. The fabric that I am using, and this is a free pattern by the way, I will have a link in the description below, is called Rainbow Sherbert. Cute, 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 all kinds of fun colors. I did get 2 packs of these because you will need 2 packs. I am also using a white on white. You can use a white or you might want to use a corresponding color. In order to be able to turn it into certain patterns, you're going to want this center stripe to be solid. And then you can use the white for your border, or you can use something fun. I found this beautiful little butterfly print. It is called Summer Breeze, and it's from In the Beginning. And I want to use that as my border. So let me show you what you have to do in order to get this quilt made. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your white or your solid or your white on white or whatever it is you choose for your center strip, and you are going to cut 10 3-inch strips. That's not too hard, right? Now each strip will cover a block. And interesting enough, this is made out of 4 patches. So you want to open up your charm pack. I have some help. Okay, scoochy, scoochy. So here I have multiple colors in my charm square stack. What I am going to do is just kind of set them aside and match, because I do have some repeats, and pull colors that I think coordinate and make a stack that is eventually going to be my 4 patch. So I'm going to just do this until I've used all the charm squares that I have. Let's take these to the sewing machine and I'll show you how I quickly put these 4 patches together. I think the secret to 4 patches is chain piecing. I take the top 2 of my 4 patch first. Here she is, ready to pounce whenever I walk away. I sew those, and then I take the next 2 and I will do this until all are done. And this is the key to the second part of my process. If you do have to step away and you lose track, you can always count. And if you're on an even number, then you need to start with the top 2. If you're on an odd number, then you need to start with the bottom. So like right now, if I lost track of where I was, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that I need to start with the top because I have 4. If I had 5 done, then I'd have to start with the bottom. And you will see why this is important. Now you can see I have all of these chain pieced together. I'm not going to separate all of them. I'm going to separate them by 2. So 2, 2. So this is why you want to keep them in order. So here is my 4 patch, and it just so happens it ended up looking like I wanted it to. So I want one of the two of the 4 patch. I want one of the 2 pieces of the 4 patch to go one way and one to go the other way. Doesn't matter which, we could do it this way. But I want to finger press these in the opposite way, which makes it easier to sew them together and get a great seam matching in the middle. So I've pressed this seam one way and this seam the other. I'll fold them over the top, and with that little thread in place, it makes it very easy. And here I match my seams perfectly. They nest together. Now all I need to do is make sure that stays in place and sew the 4 patch. And I'm going to do that for all of my 4 patches. And I don't even have to break thread. And if you sew them tightly enough, you barely have to do anything. And just like that, we are done with the sewing of our 4 patches. Now we will take them in and press them so they're nice and flat. And then I will show you what we're going to do next. On the next part of this project, it helps quite a bit to have a mat that has a 45-degree line, because I am going to be slicing this 4 patch in half on the diagonal. So what makes it easy for me is I can match this corner on this 45-degree line and this corner on this 45-degree line. This is a Fisker's rotating cutting mat, in case you wanted to know what kind it is. Now I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to line it up on that 45-degree angle and lay it down, making sure my points don't move. And then I'm going to slice it in half. Now I have somewhere for that 3-inch strip to go. You are going to do this to all of your 4 patch blocks. One tip, I find that if I place one of the corners on the 45-degree angle and hold it there, then I just rotate the other side. And that way I'm not doing, oh, you know, now I've got this side, but I don't have this side. Now I have this side and I don't have that side. And perfection is not absolutely necessary, because, you know, you can see that I just did that. We will trim the blocks down. And if there's a block that I don't have to use, well, you know what? That's going to be the one. Don't even know how I did that. So don't freak out if you do that. Just, you know, don't do it again. I now have all of my blocks cut in half on the diagonal. Now what we need to do is we need to take our white strip, and what I've done is, because the pattern says that you will get 2 blocks per white strip, I've cut my white strips in half. Now this may create more waste, I don't know, but you have to be careful when you're creating your block, because if you go too short on either end of the white strip, you could lose the point of your block. So what you want to do, and for this, as much as it pains me, I'm going to use clips. If you're not a clip person and you're a pin person, use pins. If you're not a clip or pin person, use a clip or a pin, because this, you could mess this stuff up. Believe me. All right, so you're going to take your white strip, and the whole goal is to put your white strip in between your 4-patch, but your 4-patch should be even on each side. So I'm going to fold over my block, my half block, and I'm going to clip it in the center, and I'm going to clip it at each end. Now the first one is the easy one. It's the adding of the second half of the block where you have to be careful and make sure that you're putting it in the right place. So let me go sew this side, and then I'll show you what we need to do on the other side. The nice thing about using these strips is you can start a little ahead of where the corner of your block is and prevent any issues with your needle getting stuck down in your plate. So I can start ahead, which is almost like having a leader. And then I just sew my 1/4 inch. I do try to hold down this bulk here because it is a little bulky. Make sure nothing gets caught on my foot. And this is why the clips are important, to keep your fabric in place. And there we have a strip attached to our 4-patch. Once you have attached the first half of your 4-patch, you are going to want to press. Now you've got a lot of different things going on the bias here, so please press, do not iron. So I kind of flip that over, press it down. I'm going to use some of my Faultless Luxe Finish, my favorite, and I'm going to press down. And it's ready for the next step. We are now ready for the most complex part of this process, and it doesn't have to be complex. So we need to attach these 2 halves of our 4-patch to this white strip, and we want them to be as even as possible, because, you know, if I attach this side here and this side here, that's not going to look right. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a water-soluble pen and a little ruler, and we are going to, at the tip of our 4-patch corner, we're going to put the ruler down. We're going to line up the line on our ruler with our strip, and we're going to make a mark. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. At the tip, we can do it this way. You can flip it however you need to do it. Want to line up the white strip. It'd be at the tip of our patch, our 4-patch. and make a line. These lines are how we are going to line up the other half of our square. So here I put the tip of this 4-patch piece at the line and the tip of this 4-patch piece at this line. And then I'm going to fold over and clip or pin, whichever your preference is. And I use about 3 clips. Now I'm going to sew this side just like I sewed the other side. So here you can see I have stitched the second part. So now I'm going to press it. Again, we're going to press. We're not ironing because ironing might stretch something out, and we don't want to stretch anything out. I'm going to use my Luxe just to get a nice flat block. This now is part of the block, and this is why I said make sure you have plenty of your strip on either side, because this is going to extend out to make the point of our block. So now we need to make this a square or a block. So I'm going to find the center point. I'm going to fold this over in half. And my grandchildren are here, so you're going to hear noises you're not used to hearing. So here we've got a line. Now I'm going to fold it this way. And right here, you may not be able to see it really well, but there is a center mark. Boy, I hope this comes out. Okay, well anyway. Per the pattern, we are supposed to cut this down to a 9.5 inch block. But I don't want to cut this down to a 9.5 inch block because that's a whole lot of fabric that we're not going to use. So I thought we would cut it down to a 10.5 inch block. However, when I put my ruler on this and I mark the center, or I use the center of the ruler to center my ruler, it doesn't look like it's centered right. Like this side's going to be bigger than this side. So I'm sure that I'm doing something incorrectly. So I just decided that I was going to do it the old-fashioned way and just trim by using the lines on my block. So I'm lining up this line. I'm going as far over as I can and cutting. Now I don't have to cut all the way because I'm not going to use the whole strip. And then I just turn the block around, or I could rotate my cutting mat. And again, I am lining this up with the seam and the edge of my block. So here I have two sides. And as you can see, this is not perfectly straight. So it could be that my doing this way is not going to work out, but we'll see when we put it on the wall. I can always go back and make these smaller. Okay, so I'm lining it up. Straighten the edge. Bring it this way, line it up. And here I have my block. So let me do this to all the other pairs of split 4 patches that I have, and then we'll meet back at the design wall and see what designs we can make. One of the wonderful things about this pattern is the fact that you can make different designs. This is one design. Now it looks like there are diamonds, right? But then you also have X's. And this is the lattice work version of the pattern. Now let me show you what else you can do with it. Or you can make chevrons. Or you can make diamonds. And I'm not even sure that that's it. I'm confident that if you played around with this, there are all kinds of things that you could make. Another thing, maybe use different shades of one color and the white stripe through the middle, or maybe use all black and white and gray for your patches and then use a red stripe in the center. The options for this, I think, are just endless. So try to guess which one I am going to make and have it in your head before you see the end of the video. No cheating now. What am I going to make? The X's and diamonds, the diamonds, or the chevrons? Let me know what you think. Now, as far as my border goes, you could use your traditional white. I don't want to do that. I want to use my butterfly fabric that I showed you earlier. The pattern says to cut 3-inch strips. And it could be that that's what I end up doing. But I am going to measure and see if maybe I can get away with maybe just a little bit wider than 3 inches. But I will let you know as soon as we get back. I'm going to put all this together in the pattern that I've chosen, add that border, and I will have a finished quilt. Before I go on and show you my quilt top that looks pretty cool, I want to thank a few people. I want to thank Rowdy Red Girl 1 for commenting on my last video. I'd also like to thank Wiley Cat 5290. Thank you, and Oliver says hi. I also want to thank Cheryl Brown for watching my channel. So now let's go see the finished quilt. What did you think I was going to use for the pattern? Let me know if you were surprised. As you can see, I went with the X's diamond lattice work combination. Honestly, at first, I thought that I was going to use the diamonds that kind of got bigger and bigger. But once I saw this, it was kind of cool how you've got your X. And really, you could think of it as X's and O's, hugs and kisses if you wanted to. I think I want to call this the chameleon quilt because depending on which pattern you use, the look changes. Depending on which fabric you use in combination with the different patterns, this quilt could be the only quilt that you sew for a while and no one would know that it's the same pattern. Give it a try. Link is in the description below. It is a free pattern. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Eat some chocolate and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. Okay, so let's go look at the finished quilt. Finished quilt, not finished quilt. I went with the X Diamond Con combination. I think I want to call this wow, having trouble talking. Blah, 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 blah.